ahead from the Hyundai Studios. Test drive a new Hyundai today, only at your local Hyundai dealer. We're inside the Miller Electric Center where mandatory minicamp has come to a close. Here's what's coming up on the show. GM James Gladstone slated to join us live in studio. We'll get his thoughts on the offseason program so far, mandatory minicamp review. We'll get into all that coming up the last 3 days. And the offseason program winding down. Only 3 more organized team activity practices on the schedule for next week. And most likely fairly light in terms of intensity and practice. We'll see about that moving ahead. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube as always. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Good afternoon. How are you?
Afternoon, JP.
Good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's kind of an odd time of year, because the minicamp signifies in a lot of ways that we're about to approach that dead period. Mm-hmm. And the OTAs, there are still a couple on the books for next week. But for the most part, and we're about to hit that dead zone when it comes to the NFL news or the NFL daily kind of information dose. Not going to get it.
Vacation season begins for the next month or so.
And I tell you, the coaching staff, the administration that's around football, they deserve it. I mean, they grind for a long period of time, and then once they get into the regular season, there is no vacation. There's no days off. I mean, it's an incredible amount of time away from family and friends, and it's a lot of dedication. So they deserve the vacations that they take, and I hope they're all going to have an amazing time.
No doubt. Last 3 days, though, mandatory minicamp has been here at the Miller Electric Center, as has been General Manager James Gladstone, who steps into studio now to join us here on Jaguars Happy Hour. Regular on Jaguars HQ during the regular season. This is the off season. We'll get you all the time. Good to see you. Thanks for the time, James. Good to see you.
Jack to be here. I mean, let's get into it. I'm a little bit bummed we don't get our fourth that typically joins us for these.
Where's Baselli?
Yeah, what's he doing?
Priors. He had prior engagements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I noticed kind of different today. The OTAs typically, you're kind of up in the perch, checking out things on the field. And today, you were right amongst everybody, watching very close with a front row seat. Pretty intense for you today.
You know what? Tony and I both started up on the perch, soaked up the first Mamba period from there, and then we go into a version of a jog through, and we sort of transitioned during that window. Got a little bit of a closer end zone shot right behind the OL, which, typically on that far field, it can be a little bit easier to maybe dissect some of the close-up vantage point of what's going on behind the ball. And, certainly when you get a chance post-practice to zoom that lens out, be the eye in the sky with the film, you're not always tapping into that same on-field vantage point. So some of the live exposure, feeling some of that stuff, getting some of that commentary can be a helpful piece to the puzzle. So do like vacillating between the two, and it's not necessarily going to be a constant one spot or the other, but depending on the day, depending on the moment, you could find us in one.
All right, so 7 OTAs, a mini camp in, and you've had an opportunity to kind of look at where you're at, from a personnel standpoint. You happy with where you are right now?
Look, I think this part of the off season is really forging what the fall could become. But while plenty of good teams are built during this window and just ahead of it, it's really the great ones that evolve over the course of the regular season and beyond. And so we're always sort of working the edges and the perimeter of where we could find an advantage, and always pursuing those. So at this stage of the game, I think there's still more work to be done, and should be proud of the work that's been put in, because we've seen, at least through the lens of what this window provides, some really clear upgrades and level ups from a number of different guys and each side of the ball. And so that part of it's been exciting, no doubt.
James, we know about the guys coming back on the roster, but a lot of new players, a lot of rookies, draft picks, not a lot of free agency action, but new players mixing into this ecosystem for the first time. You have an idea when you draft a player or scouting a player how they could fit and how their DNA is, all these things. What have you seen from some of the new guys over the off-season program since rookie minicamp, now that they've mixed in with the veterans?
Yeah, gosh, I think if you take most recent performances throughout the course of this week, the minicamp performances, I think the offensive skill guys who've just been onboarded as a part of this offseason have really had a chance to sort of perform in big moments and big ops and clear ops. And I think that's an exciting piece when QBs are starting to form trust with a number of these guys and they're able to come through when their number's called. I think that's been a really cool piece to see unfold. And you like to think that can carry over into the training camp practices and preseason games this next week, specifically oriented towards the pass game. So got to imagine that's got a chance to continue here over the next week or so. But beyond that, I think, defense is an interesting piece. The secondary has continued their trend like it did last year, getting their hand on the ball. It's been an aggressive approach on their behalf, and you certainly see an energy from them, an enthusiasm from them that's notable. I think with that being said, our defensive front being paired with that coverage is starting to show some real positives, but we're not in pads right now, so it's a really hard one to gauge. It's just a different deal. And Logs, you can draw from your own experience and just how different that is, but certainly some clear level ups from guys that we're familiar with and some good signs from guys that are new.
But see, Logs wore pads in his sleep, so like they had to wear
Never
pads
took them
all
off.
the time.
No, but and because of the time of year and what you're restricted with no pads. I mean, I always really focus in on the 7-7 group, and I always obviously take a very close look at the offensive line and the defensive lines. But for the most part, if you're trying to grade something or evaluate something, it's really that 7-on-7 group. Yeah. What I'm seeing in the back end with your safety group and the corner group, and it's not even completely back to full strength yet, obviously, with Travis
that's a
Hunter.
Wild piece, isn't it? You got Jordan and Travis on the sideline.
It's been fantastic, though, watching who has been out there. Yeah. From Ransaw to, obviously, Antonio Johnson, and then Eric Murray back in the mix. And then also to kind of include some of the linebackers. I mean, you got those two Christmas presents you didn't really get to see, and Jalen McLeod is another one. I mean, that's got to be fun to watch those groups, even though you got two of them sitting out that are going to be top-end players, and you're sitting there looking at those guys that are out there going, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, there's no question about it. They're playing with a ton of confidence. Clearly, they have a firm grip on what they're being tasked with, and I think they've accepted the challenge of being a bit more aggressive, in particular at the line of scrimmage, and not giving much air to breathe for receivers. There's been such great competition across those skill spots, right? We talk about the secondary doing a great job of getting their hands on the balls, but our offense has been threatening the third level of defenses at a higher clip this offseason as well, and we've seen those hit at a higher rate. And there's a point of emphasis, and typically you get what you emphasize, and that's certainly been one of them, and it's shown through. So it's been a good back and forth, and to see some unfamiliar names for folks that might be listening really show up has been a cool piece.
James Gladstone with us, Jaguars general manager on Jaguars Happy Hour. And speaking of those deep passes, Brian Thomas Jr. has been the recipient of a number of those in this offseason program, especially in the minicamp this week, and he's been all over the news this offseason about, taking a step up again. And what have you seen out of him in the building and on the practice field this offseason?
Yeah, he's committed himself to the process, so to speak. He was in the building doing a lot of rehab off the heels of some postseason stuff, and so it was a constant. And with that, it's carried over into his performance here this spring, and the connection between him and Trevor continues to grow and blossom. And he's just certainly given his energy in the right spots, and I think that's showing up in a real way.
Yeah, I thought that yesterday's practice was arguably the first time that he had that swagger that he put on display in his rookie year. And it was so good to see that competitive when he caught that deep ball going down the boundary, and it was early in practice yesterday, and then you saw it kind of continue today. It was just like that's the guy that I watched go and do what he did his rookie year, and it was really good to see.
Yeah, no question. They're pushing each other, though. I think the entire wide receiver group is doing such a great job of refining their details and making sure that that's a point of emphasis internally for the players themselves, and you can feel that really getting better and better. And EB's done such a great job continuing to push those guys and level their play up, give them new tools to operate with. And
Edgar Bennett, you're speaking
Edgar
of.
Bennett,
yes,
yeah.
wide receiver coach.
It's been just such a cool piece across the board there. As you integrate rookies into the fold, there hasn't been a ton of hiccups on their behalf as well. So it's very clear that, there's an application of what's being taught that gets put into practice on the grass.
The two rookies have been fun to watch, too. Cameron and Williams, they got some size to them, too.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The fun part with both of their games is that it is truly rooted in pad play. And so for them to be performing at a high clip without them on is even more exciting.
Speaking of pad play, I got to go here just for a minute because, the offensive line, it's typically something that I stay away from this time of year and in the defensive line. But with Pregnon and Wyatt Milam and your returning incumbent starters, Jonah Monheim, Hainsey, am I seeing what might be the most competitive offensive line situation maybe in the league, and you're in the interior three positions with your offensive line? I'm sitting there watching this going, this is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out once you get the pads on in training camp, because you have some really good depth.
Yeah, that's been the intent. You guys have probably heard us emphasize it enough. Liam and I experienced a pretty gnarly season in Los Angeles that was impacted by injuries to the offensive line and being forced to call on a 7th, 8th, and 9th OL and play a significant amount of snaps, and the pains that can come with that. And so wanting to ensure that our bench, so to speak, was always healthy and deep was something that we never wanted to sacrifice. And so through that first off season, attacking that through pro free agency, following up with a couple draft picks that year, being able to do it again with a draft pick this year, and feel continuity, returning 8 guys from a year ago who had real contributions throughout the course of a season is a really, really cool thing. And I think it's going to be something that next week we prioritize at a little bit of a higher clip than we have up to this point in the off season, but moving guys around a little bit more, because the versatility as well has been a real point of emphasis for us. Cole Van Landen this time last year was jumping from left tackle to right tackle, left guard to right guard, and that's ultimately what earned him a chance to get on the field more and showcase what he could do and stabilize play, really for the OL as a whole, but even in his particular role anytime he was given those ops. So we'll start down that path a little bit more here next week when we're in that passing camp, and just see how those start to settle in as we then turn to training camp and continue some of that stuff.
Speaking of Cole Van Landen, I know it's the offseason and there's no injury reports, but how's Cole doing coming back from the injury he had last year?
Yeah, he's in a great place. He's running at full speed in his rehab process, and plan for his return in training camp. Exact timing is still to be determined, but in a great place, as is many of the others who we see on the side with our performance staff throughout the course of our practices up to this point in the spring.
James Gladstone with us, Jaguars GM, and on that track in terms of players who are off to the side right now, I'd be remiss if we didn't ask about Travis Hunter, of course. Yeah. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Travis, and we see him in practice on the offensive side. He's like in the huddle. He's the 12th guy, and then he'll line up in the position he's supposed to line up.
Yeah.
It's great to see that. What's his day look like in the building every day right now?
Yeah, so he starts out with his rehab process on the grass along with his weight room work early in the morning, so that he can participate in both offensive and defensive meetings. With that, he also does the bulk of his reps, so to speak, in our virtual room, and that happens in between sort of dead windows in the day where He's meeting with assistants on both sides of the ball as a part of that. And then for the most part, when we're out there as a team, he tends to be during group sessions on the offensive side, breaking the huddle as a 12th and just lining up in the backfield as if he was getting his pre-snap practice in. Nothing post-snap, but alignment, assignment type stuff, which is really the emphasis for everybody throughout the course of this, paired with technique. And so that's certainly a helpful tool for him to be able to activate and not be in a spot where he's doing performance-related stuff throughout the course of practice, but actually be able to be engaged in the huddle conversation, hear them coming from Trevor, and not, a script that he's running off of on his own in a virtual setting. So that type of stuff is certainly the nuances that you get that you otherwise wouldn't.
He's still on track, though, for training camp and beyond?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people might wonder, well, if he's kind of breaking the huddle with the offense, why is he not doing that with the defense? And just to give people a quick answer to that, look, defense is not rocket science. I'm not trying to be critical or anything.
Trying to say, Logs.
But playing wide receiver is a lot more involved than playing corner.
Yeah, you can replicate the pre-snap operation in a more meaningful way in those virtual settings on the defensive side than you could the offensive side. Again, like hearing it come off the lips of Trevor in a play call is a helpful piece, right? That's a cool piece. And we actually apply that audio in some of those settings for Travis when he's virtual as well. So we capture that in the huddle. You break the huddle, he's in the virtual room and he's listening to that. But doing it in real time is certainly a helpful tool.
So have you ever thought about doing a virtual draft in that room, where you sit in there and make picks?
Oh yeah, we do the simulated
simulator
drafts.
In there. Can you do that?
Mock drafts.
Undoubtedly. You want to run through those mock games, so to speak. The mock drafts are certainly a good tool in the toolbox.
And another just physical part, if you're on the defensive huddle, you can't get off the field in time. Everything's coming at you from the offensive side, too. So physically, you can't be in that huddle. James Gladstone with us. Last couple minutes with you. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. But you're off season ahead. You get time down? Does the staff go away? What happens? You're always looking, as you said earlier, to improve the roster and things. But how do you approach the off season the next month?
You know what I love about this phase of the calendar year is that as a scouting staff, we get a chance to press pause, really take a moment to review our process and attempt to enhance it in ways that we feel like are meaningful. And we're working through the after action items and then executing on bringing a lot of that to life and planning out how it fits into the larger puzzle and things of that nature. So a lot of strategizing, a lot of dialogue back and forth to make sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed. So that piece to it is certainly a fun one. Beyond that, you're taking the time to assess how we're performing up to this point. You're working with our performance staff, our coaching staff. We're taking the time tomorrow to review some of the things up to this point through the off-season program, while at the same time keeping an eye on the rest of the league and the landscape, as well as turning a little bit of attention to the next year's draft crop. Right before this, had wrapped OL up for the initial sort of lists of our focused coverage and turn into tight ends. And so doing a little bit of that in the background, knowing that, you got a longer runway in that regard, but having an idea of what might be deep, what might be light in terms of positions, things of that nature heading into the next season is certainly a fun one to be aware of, and knowing it's certainly going to evolve as the season does.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a neat time of year because there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of wells to dip your toe into, so to speak.
And got to also kind of recharge your batteries, right? I mean, the commitment that you guys have once the season starts, I mean, it's immense. And time spent away from family, is difficult, but that's the part of the commitment of the job that's required. And so this time of year also offers an opportunity for you guys to really kind of have some of that.
Yeah, no doubt. I tend to appreciate the routine. So I tap into that as frequently as possible. Myself, Tony, Liam, Mark Lamping, we're going to spend some time together over the course of the summer. get away together, which will be a blast. Looking forward to that, and going to have our spouses with us. And, got a chance to enjoy the weekends a little bit more here in recent weeks. Went out to the zoo with the family each of the last two.
Let's go. We had a Jaguar exhibit out there.
Oh, yeah, and the manatee exhibits, rocking. That thing's off to the races. The first time around, I ended up going solo. As my wife had something going on, took both kids with me and opted for no stroller. Don't recommend that. Learned that lesson the next week. Brought that sucker with us. Yeah.
Love it. James, thanks for the time. Always appreciate you jumping on with us.
Heck yeah. Appreciate you guys having me on.
James Gladstone, Jaguars General Manager. Plenty ahead. We'll come back on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. It is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Before you kick off your next yard project, make sure you've got the right play call. I'm Josh Scobie, and I know a thing or two about game plan. Sunshine 811 is a free service that marks underground utility lines before you dig. Skip the call, and you could get hit with injuries, expensive repairs, fines, or even knockout service for your neighbors. Don't take that risk. Make the smart call, 811, before you dig. Learn more at peoplesgas.com/811.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com and move into your dream home today.
All right, Jacksonville, listen up. When your AC quits in the Florida heat, who do you call? When the power goes out in the middle of the night, who do you call? When your water heater floods in the garage, who do you call?
Call the Donovan brothers.
Donovan Air, Electric, and Plumbing. Call 904-270-COOL. That's 904-270-COOL. Everyone wins when two winning traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their authentic recipes start with hand-scooped avocados and end up in your hands, fresh for all to savor on game day. Grab some at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan Nacho Carts around the stadium, or you can find these at your favorite Publix. Sack the flavor your taste buds crave with Yucatan Guacamole.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The top-ranked rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
At GEHA, they stand behind their members because they were founded by members. So with zero shareholders to mind, GEHA keeps their members in mind by offering a health plan for every stage of life, plus hearing and fitness discounts. At GEHA, one thing is clear. Your health isn't their business, it's their purpose. That's why GEHA has been trusted by millions of federal employees and retirees across the country since 1937. Visit GEHA.com to find your federal health plan.
I feel like I've been in so many different systems now. It's just understanding the verbiage, I would say. Like, pretty much teams run the same stuff. It's just what you call it. So if I can get all the names glued down, I think that would be a big help for me. But I wouldn't say I'm learning too much. It's the same as him. I'm trying to refine it. The things I am learning, I really need to hold on to those, but refining for sure.
Like the timing, routes, and stuff. You haven't had an off-season here before, so.
I mean, but that's football, though. So I would say that part, the on-the-field part is maybe a little easier for me. Just being in the classroom, making sure, like I said, I get the words down so when they do call it, I don't have to stop, think, what's this in this offense, and then go line up.
That's Jacoby Myers, Jaguars receiver, earlier today. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios, 1010XLAM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to James Gladstone, Jaguars general manager, for joining us. And a little teaser coming up. We'll have Microsoft Copilot, and it has to do with general manager ages.
General manager agents?
Ages. A-G-E.
I got you. Well, James got to be one of the youngest.
Well, we'll find out.
All right.
And I'm going to ruin the question by telling it now.
If not the youngest.
We'll find out an answer.
All right,
See?
all
Okay.
right.
See? Now, okay. We might as well. Nah, we'll wait. We'll do it later.
Yeah,
we could do it now. We'll do it.
No.
We'll do it later. Interesting there from Jacoby Myers. Of course, he came in mid-season, trade from the Raiders, and was like, oh, how is this such an intricate offense? Can he handle it? He stepped right in. He was fantastic down the stretch, and a big reason why they went on that run down the stretch. But it is his first offseason here, and this time with the quarterback and immersing himself even deeper into this offense is valuable. And you heard him there talk about some of the things that he still has to work through, but he's a pro's pro, it sounds like to me. I like this guy a lot.
Well, if you watch him on the practice field, he is amazing. I mean, he's got a work ethic that I think is at extremely high level. And, James Gladstone and Liam Cohen and Tony always talk about bringing in guys that can elevate the room. Jacoby Myers, not only does he elevate the room, he actually elevates the field because of just the way that he carries himself, the way that he works in practice, the way that he's intentional about everything that he does. It's impressive because, there's a lot of veteran guys that have or I don't want to say all of them have it, but some of them get to the point they feel like, okay, I've been there, I've done that, I'm okay, I don't have to go 100 miles an hour. But when you watch Jacoby practice, it is a thing of beauty. It's fun to watch. And I think it's a great example for the entire room to watch a guy like that. And I think it also makes guys like Brian Thomas even better. It teaches them because they're still learning. Brian Thomas is. So is Parker.
Yeah, right.
It
They're
sets
young players.
It sets a standard for them. In a perfect world, JP, you would have somebody like him in every position group. In a perfect world. And that doesn't happen all the time. But if you had somebody that could set the standard in every room, that would be amazing to have as a football team.
I'm just thinking of fairly recent Jaguar rosters that were winning Jaguar roster. I mean, Marvin Jones was kind of that same ilk of that team that went to the playoffs a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
in that
veteran
room.
guy in that room, right? Who does it the right way. May not be a massive stats guy, but he's going to be reliable and catch the ball. And there's a lot of similarities in that regard, at least.
Yeah, because I think
Jacoby's a bigger player. I mean, is a more explosive player. I think a lot of players are more explosive than Marvin Jones was. But,
well, and I think also too, because just to focus in on the wide receiver room, for example, okay, Edgar Bennett's an excellent wide receivers coach. And there's a lot of familiarity between Edgar and Jacoby. They spent some time together before. And when you have a young player in the room, sometimes when he hears it come from the coach, it doesn't quite make the same transmission into the brain of the young player.
Makes sense.
Sometimes it has to be coming from a player. It's no different than sometimes, JP, and you're not there yet. Sometimes as a parent, you try to talk to one of your kids. And you tell them something, and all of a sudden it falls on deaf ears. But then when they hear it from somebody else, they hear it. They take it in. And so I think in a lot of ways it's similar like that. And so that's why you always love having a veteran presence in every room that you have. It's very rare that you would like to say, hey, look, let's just commit to youth here in this position group and let's go. In a perfect world, you like to have some kind of veteran guy to help with that entire room.
Sure. By the way, Edgar Bennett, one of the great athletes to come out of Jacksonville ever.
And he ended my career.
Really?
Yeah, Edgar Bennett ended my career.
Really?
Did you never heard the story?
Let's hear this. It's news to me.
So Edgar was a running back for the Chicago Bears, and this was
at the end,
1998.
Yep.
Okay. And so this was year 10 for me. It was the fourth play of the game in Chicago in the opening game. And I was the right defensive end, and play goes away, and I'm trailing down the line of scrimmage. I got a little too tight, and Edgar plants his foot and goes to cut and bounce outside of me, and I try to redirect, and I dive and put my arm out to tackle his leg. And Edgar was, if you remember, he ran with high knees, kind of like a Roger Craig style runner.
Okay.
And so that leg, high knees, and he's kicking his leg out. Well, he hit my arm and literally extended my elbow, and my bicep tendon, which attaches down into your elbow, it popped the distal bicep tendon. My bicep rolled up like a window shade.
That's not great.
And that was the end of my
all she wrote.
So it was all Edgar Bennett's fault. The end of my career.
We're going to hear from Edgar Bennett and all the Jacksonville Jaguars assistant coaches on Monday afternoon. They'll be available to the media just before the offseason break here, so we'll get to hear from him coming up in just a little bit. We're back in a moment, Lugs, and we'll dig into defense and what this group can do. What you've seen, you've talked a little bit with James about it. We'll dig a little deeper into what the secondary has been doing for this team
They've
as
been
well.
looking really good in my eyes, really good.
It's time to take your season to the next level when the Jags return to the bank in 2026. Become a season ticket member. Unlock exclusive access to ticketed events, members-only experiences, NFL membership club perks, and more. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/season tickets. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Hey, Jaguars fans, if your money isn't working as hard as you are, that's not good enough. You've earned the right to expect more. Put your money on offense with a high-yield account from Everbank. Our Everbank performance accounts feature rates to keep your money performing, giving you the freedom and confidence you need to move the chains. So make the winning play and earn the W's you deserve. Start today at www.everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast forward together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/forward together.
Football may be in the offseason, but your appetite's still in midseason form. And at Daly's, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is smoked low and slow. Tender, juicy, and packed with bold flavor. I'm telling you guys, it's delicious. It's a heavy hitter. It brings game day energy to any day of the week. So fill up like a Jaguar. And me with Daly's barbecue brisket sandwich. Daly's, big flavor, no offseason.
Listen up. If our kids are to grow up healthy, we have to work together out there. A healthier tomorrow depends on the calls that we make today. It's about eating right and focusing on their physical and mental health. We should be reading to our kids every night. Can you give me 60 minutes of physical activity every day?
Yes, I can.
This is our healthy playbook. We do this as a team. Our kids win. Who's with me?
Get healthy at nemours.org/Jaguars. Nemours Children's Health, proud pediatric partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At GEHA, they stand behind their members because they were founded by members. So with zero shareholders to mind, GEHA keeps their members in mind by offering a health plan for every stage of life, plus hearing and fitness discounts. At GEHA, one thing is clear. Your health isn't their business, it's their purpose. That's why GEHA has been trusted by millions of federal employees and retirees across the country since 1937. Visit GEHA.com to find your federal health plan. Everyone wins when two winning traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their authentic recipes start with hand-scooped Hass avocados and end up in your hands, fresh for all to savor on game day. Grab some at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan Nacho Carts around the stadium, or you can find these at your favorite Publix. Sack the flavor your taste buds crave with Yucatan Guacamole.
I mean, I think we have a good chance to win the whole thing. And, talking to the coaches during the offseason, the plan was, we had a different strategy coming to this, attacking this program right here. And, so far, I think we've gotten better as a unit. There's still steps that we need to take to become the defense that we need to become. Do I think we're there right now? I don't think so. But do I see the growth and the mindset that everybody has to attack each and every day? Yes, I do. So that kind of gives me hope to know that we are taking those steps.
JHA, Josh Hines Allen, earlier this week. Full press conferences from the week at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. And Logs, Josh says that, no, he's not bigger. They kept asking him, well, you look bigger. You look bigger. He's like, I'm not bigger. I'm the same way, whatever. And then he was asking him, what do you think I weigh? And then they started guessing, and he never said a number. And he's like, no, I worked out this offseason.
Yeah, I think him and Trayvon both look like in great shape.
But do you think he's bigger?
I don't know if he's bigger or not. I mean, Trayvon definitely looked bigger, and when I talked to him, he definitely was, a little bit heavier than what he'd been playing at. But, speaking of that position group, last year you had B.J. Green, Danny Strigo.
Yes.
That were obviously undrafted guys that made the team and then had an impact, especially down the stretch.
Huge.
And B.J. Green, I thought, was arguably one of your better pass rushers because of his success rate if he didn't have some penalties involved to take away some of his sacks. Hey. He's got some twitch. I'm a big fan of guys that got twitch, and you would have thought maybe that they would say, hey, look, we feel good about that edge position. Let's not address it a whole bunch. Well, they did. Mm-hmm. You got Durfee and Williams, the two young defensive ends. Mm-hmm. And Williams from Duke has got some violence to him. Durfee's got kind of a lot of attributes like Strigo. So I think that position group is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And all of a sudden you've got some depth there, and you just hope that you have the emergence of talents that show there and the development happens at that position group because, it's a premium position.
Sure it is.
Pass rush is a premium position.
And you're paying premium dollars, well, not top market dollars, but high dollars to both the top two guys right now.
You are, and I think both of those deals are fair. I thought the most recent one with Trayvon, I thought was a very good deal for both sides. Mm-hmm. So I like the fact that you have young, less costly players that are behind those two guys because, from a salary cap standpoint, it's what you got to have.
Cheap labor, right?
You got to have some of that. You have the haves and then you have the may-haves at some point. I don't want to call them the have-nots.
They have stuff, but it's not as much stuff as the other guys.
They don't qualify into the have-not category.
No, they've got things. They got a lot of things.
With the minimum salary now, I think averaging about $1 million a year, I don't think that would qualify as have-not.
No, he's doing fine. Yeah, it's just your perspective, I suppose. Right, that's all it is. Let's see.
But I like those guys, seriously. I think that, much like I was mentioning with James Gladstone about the interior of the offensive line being something that's going to be you're going to need to watch it closely because it's going to be highly competitive. Look, we know who the two starters are at the edge positions, but once you get behind that, that is where it's going to be really competitive with B.J. Green and Williams and Strigo and Durfee. That's going to be really fun to watch.
And then we can get into the interior as well. Devon Hamilton, Albert Regis was a pick this year. Ororo came in the offseason. They got Rose. They got
Matt
Hunt,
Dickerson
who was around. Right?
Man, he was tough last year.
They just got Quentin Bohanna recently. So there's names there.
Yeah.
Who's going to emerge? Maybe not take over a starting role, but how do they fortify the interior of that D-line? We've been talking about that all offseason. Yeah.
And real quick on Eric Armstead.
Armstead, I left him out.
I think that the role for him is going to be very well defined this year. Mm-hmm. Is because you go back 2 years ago, we were like, is he an end? Is he a tackle? We don't know what he is. And he was playing end, and we were like, not an end.
We heard two different versions of that,
and,
by the way, remember?
And
he would say one thing, and then the other
I think
would say another.
We just agreed to forget about it and not talk about that and try to figure that out anymore. And going ahead, he's a tackle.
Yes.
And I thought that in the role that he had last year, prior to the injury, his production was perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. I mean, you always want more, but simple fact is that his production was outstanding. And then the injury happened and it tailed off a little bit. And so if you can get the production that he had pre-injury last year through the entire season this year, I mean, he's worth every penny that you're going to be paying him.
Yeah. This is the last year of the deal, right? I think it is coming up.
I think
for
it
him.
is. Yeah, I think it is. And I think, what is that, around 17-ish, 14, something like that?
It's one of those. I think they could get out of it if they really needed to somehow.
But he's still a good player.
Playing well. Don't get rid of good players.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, he's playing
Year 12
well.
coming up.
Yeah, he's playing well. And he looks healthy, right? Last year had this back thing that kept him out and finally came back late in the preseason. And now he's been doing everything, which is great. Which is a good sign.
It's a really good sign. Let's get to the group that you briefly touched on with James Gladstone earlier. GM joined us in the first segment. If you missed it, check out the archive coming up on Jaguars.com. But the secondary play, you made an excellent point. Two starting players in the secondary are not out there, and Jordan Lewis and Travis Hunter. We heard that in the playoff game, and we saw a big reason why they lost that playoff game when you don't have your top two cornerbacks out there, or two of your top cornerbacks out there. It's a problem. They're not out there right now, but some other guys are stepping in a non-padded situation,
right,
and stepping out. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I've been very impressed with Monteric Brown. He's the same guy, but he just keeps getting a little bit better every year, and that's been the impressive thing with Monteric Brown. So it's good to see him. Jarian Jones, you can see he's just such a bigger corner.
Yes,
you know, he's got size.
Getting bigger. I think he's been in the weight room. Yes.
I mean, he's
big
got
anyway.
But he's got size to him, and so that's been impressive to watch. But I think the really interesting thing for me with this secondary is the mix of safeties that they have, and obviously Andrew Dewey is gone.
Yep,
and he's in Arizona now. But Eric Murray is back. He had the injury last year, and then you have Antonio Johnson, you have Caleb Bransall, Rayon Lane. You have a lot of guys that can play safety, and I think that, you know, much like the new wave of or popularity of the tight end in the NFL, there's got to be a response to that from a defensive schematic standpoint, and I think the response to that is more safety versatility performances on defense, and the Jaguars have some really good safety players. Antonio Johnson's got some tremendous size. I mean, he looks like he's a tight end kind of in a lot of respects.
What is he listed at? Let's see. He is I'm looking for him. Here we go. He's listed at 6'2", 198.
He looks bigger than that, doesn't he? I mean, maybe he is bigger than that now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, his ability to play in the box, I think it gives them some added versatility. Caleb Bransall, who I can't wait to see in live action because we didn't get to see him at all last year.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to him. And Eric Murray is just so consistent.
And you're leaving out a rookie, Jalen Husky, the draft pick.
Well, and look,
you know what? He can bring it too now.
And it wasn't intentional. Okay, because I like my Maryland Terp guys, okay?
Do you?
I'm a big fan of Mark
You're a Terp
Duffner,
guy?
Jalen Husky. Okay?
Those are the only two that you like.
That's the only one.
All the rest of them are
Boomer sizing, kind of a little bit, you know. But look, I think he's got great ball skills. And so now you're talking about a guy that's got great ball skills, but for him to be able to reach the level that those guys, they got a little step on him just because of the experience, time on task, even though Caleb Bransall hasn't played, but he's been around the system a little bit longer.
Husky's got size, 6'2", 201 for Husky.
And he's hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, we had him in here.
Absolutely.
And it was fun to listen to him, and you could tell that he was a guy that is a competitor, and he wants to be on the field. He expects to be on the field. So that's a really interesting group. The corner group, in my opinion, solid, but it's a group that needs Travis Hunter. You know, I think that's your marquee guy. He's your hands down best corner that you have. Jordan Lewis, I think, is your second. Monteric, probably right there in third. And obviously Jordan Lewis is a nickel. And that's kind of what he's done exclusively. But if you want this group to be able to raise its level, it's got to have 12. 12's got to be out there on a more consistent basis than he was last year. They need him.
Tintin XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. We're back in a moment on Jaguars Happy Hour, and we'll talk to the computer logs, your favorite, about general manager ages.
I like it. Are we going to, like, plural? Are we going to talk about multiple general managers?
No.
Okay, one.
I'm going to ask it a question. It's going to answer it. Like
right.
It always does. It's coming up. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit dreamfindershomes.com and move into your dream home today.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This season, the road to kickoff starts at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. From Bay Meadows to Arlington to Westside, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram is locally owned and proud to serve the First Coast with real pricing and a lifetime powertrain warranty at no extra cost. And let's be honest, there's no vehicle better built for tailgating than a Jeep or a Ram. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Bay Meadows, Arlington, and Westside. 3 locations, 1 legendary team. Johnstone Supply Wholesale provides HVAC contractors with Amana air conditioners, heat pumps, and furnaces homeowners trust. Built to be reliable, quiet, and energy efficient to provide indoor heating and cooling comfort year-round. Don't settle for less. Trust the experts. To find the right system for your home, locate an Amana Advantage specialist near you at johnstoneamana.com. That's johnstoneamana.com.
My husband, Steve, was diagnosed with prostate cancer. They only gave him months to live. That was years ago. Now, he's out there, under the tree. Nature photography is his thing. And apparently, so is catching poison ivy.
Oof, so itchy. UF Health, human progress has no finish line.
Really jacked about so much of the information that we were able to leverage specifically from everybody in this room as a part of the decision-making process along the way. I know I popped my head in briefly here and there, but you know, there were so many little nuances throughout the course of the draft itself that I was leaning on as a part of the why behind some of the selections. Like I know I mentioned to Corey, just the nugget from him in the interview with Husky, right? The sentiment that he shared as a part of that note and part of that commentary was really meaningful. And yeah, I can't wait to see who from this crop earns their place this offseason and into training camp and starting next season, because I know there's somebody, and I know there's a lot of passion poured into it. There's a lot of conviction in many of the players that we ended up signing. I know it's not always easy, especially when we got so many picks at the back end of the draft. So to plow through it in the way that you were. I'm proud to have observed from afar. I'm proud to have just see the results as they stand, but I'm very much appreciative of everything that went into bringing this to life.
That is a teaser from The Hunt, Episode 2, tonight, 7 o'clock, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, an inside look at Jaguars football at the Miller Electric Center. And this one has to do with the draft and everything after. Don't miss it tonight, Logs.
Well, I'll definitely be watching it the next couple nights. I don't know about tonight, though.
Oh, what do you got tonight?
Well, you got a hockey game on tonight.
You're in the
I'm a Stanley Cup guy.
final.
Yeah, I'm a Stanley Cup guy.
You got World Cup on now, too. I think you're a big soccer guy.
I'm not a soccer guy.
No? Okay.
I like watching Fulham play.
South Africa's down to 9 players. They've had 2 players kicked out of the game.
Yeah, you were explaining a lot of the rules to me during the breaks that we've had. So I'm learning about soccer.
There you go.
In World Cup.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You got a month and a half to figure it out.
Yeah, but The Hunt, I can't wait to watch it tomorrow night. I know it's on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so it's archived. It's not just a one-time only.
I'll go to YouTube, and I always watch it on YouTube, so I will actually pop it up because my pops is going to be in town tomorrow night.
All right.
So me and him will have a seat on the couch and watch The Hunt tomorrow night.
That sounds like a plan.
That's a total plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Easy. And almost as easy as pick, pay, and play. You can customize your perfect game plan with the Jags bundle at the bank, Logs. Build the ultimate lineup with 3 or more of the most anticipated home games this year. Be at the bank for every moment this season. 904-633-2000. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets. And as I said to the crowd the other day at practice on Wednesday, it will be the most intimate environment in Jaguars history this season.
Yeah, what, like 42,000?
Yeah.
By the way, today was a pretty cool day just because for the last month or so, I've been watching, the stadium construction is happening obviously constantly. But they have been, it's almost like an erector set. Some of the white steel beams that are going up around the stadium, very similar to Daly's place, right? The same kind of look, right?
Yeah.
It's what they call architectural engineering design. Okay?
Thank you, Logs.
Okay, so they had this big, giant, white steel thing that they were putting together on the ground.
Real technical term.
And I was like, okay, what is that going to be? Well, today they got this big, giant, massive crane, and they put it up, and it's like a light tower now.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was pretty cool.
I don't even think it's a light tower.
Big step.
Yeah, I mean, and they got
part
lights.
Part of the roof and the light tower.
In the future, it'll be a light tower probably
very
this year,
cool
and then it'll be
stuff.
part of the roof later.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, so and if you're watching on Jaguars.com, you have a live look out there.
There it is right there. Right in the right top middle of the screen. That's that big red crane. That's the big thing that picked it up. It was impressive to watch today. I mean, I'm just
it's a lot. I've been sitting there for 3 weeks watching them build this thing on the ground. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It actually went up today.
And the Miller Electric Center, of course, is like right across the little driveway from the stadium. So we can sit in the desk in here and I mean, there's like shaking going on. It's like an earthquake
at times.
All the time.
At times. And by the way, you did a great job yesterday when they had the practice open up to the public, and it was packed.
2,000 people.
Packed in the stands.
Logs.
And you did a great job of emceeing the practice and guiding.
They had a good time. I think the fans had a good time yesterday.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. I think they had a great time, and
they had a bunch of red zone periods in front of them. That was cool.
And they got to see Brian Thomas Jr. have an excellent day yesterday. That was a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed watching him.
It's time to talk to Microsoft Copilot about our guest from earlier. Well, not really. Well, we'll see. Maybe that'll be the answer. I don't know. Here's the question. Who is the youngest general manager in NFL history?
You kind of gave it away there.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I don't think so. The answer is Andrew Berry is the youngest GM in NFL history. Been hired by the Browns in January 2020 at age 32. He broke the previous age barrier when the Browns named him GM and Executive VP of Football Ops, making him the youngest person ever to hold the title in league history. There you have it, Microsoft Copilot. Ask, and you shall receive an answer of some kind.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, 32 years old.
Yeah, and now James was 34 last year when he got the job. Turned 35 in June. Actually, he was 33 when he got the job last year. Because he turned 34 in June last year and now just turned 35.
They kind of have a different approach in Cleveland. They rely on a.
How much time do we have left on the show? We can go through a few of them.
I'm being nice.
Okay.
I'm being nice. They have a different approach in Cleveland. And, sometimes you wonder who came up with that approach. But there is – I just wonder how he's going to end up being perceived long-term because you just traded away one of the greatest players in NFL history. And you traded away the opportunity to bring the Heisman thank goodness they did. You traded away the opportunity to bring the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter, into your program in Cleveland. And so what will be the long-term view of Andrew Berry? He'd better win because right now you just traded away the two extremely popular players that could have been wearing the Cleveland Browns uniform. And the Myles Garrett trade caught me by surprise. I was like, what?
And, okay, by the way, he was there when they traded for Deshaun Watson, too. If you want to go deeper than that, they've got seven quarterbacks on the roster right now.
Which is viewed as, hands down, the worst trade in NFL history.
They gave him a fully guaranteed contract, got the Texans out of all this underwater stuff they were involved in.
And it's not just –
got them off the hook.
JP, it's not just that. With the Cleveland Browns, there's other things that they have done from a contractual standpoint and from personnel standpoint that you sit there and you shake your head and you go, why? Why? Why did you do that? And it's
Jared Verse might be a good player in time.
Oh, he's not in time. He's a good player right now, but he's not Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is hands down the most feared defensive lineman in football. Nobody else comes close to him. The guy that's probably the closest to him in recent history was the guy that retired that may come back out of retirement, which was Aaron Donald.
Right. Can you imagine coming out of retirement?
That's like one of the most feared guys ever. Myles Garrett is the most feared now.
I don't really even want to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just for fun. Like, do you think he's still in shape?
Aaron Donald? Oh, my God, yeah.
It's like asking somebody.
It's like
asking Michael Jordan, can you still dunk? Yes, it's just fine. We can get up that high.
I'll bet you that you're like Paul Posluszny, okay? The pause when he retired. I mean, the next year he lost weight, but he could have been back in playing shape in no time flat.
Probably.
Now, Aaron Donald, I would assume that he could probably get back into playing shape pretty quick. And if he does come back, how cool would that be?
We're not playing the Rams. That'd be all right. That'd be fine.
Myles Garrett, when I saw the trade, I thought it was a hoax. At first, I was like, it's just, that's fake news.
She had a no trade clause, right? And they was like, okay, who's really going to do it? And then they found it. And you know what? If you're that guy, you probably want to go play for the Rams right now because they have a chance to win it all the time.
And
they're going after it.
Myles Garrett took a pay cut.
Okay.
We got a new contract.
Yeah.
We still took a pay cut.
Oh, yeah, sure. This is California stuff, right?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
California taxes?
That's all it is.
Ooh, they get you there in California.
Hey, coming up next week, 3 more organized team activities on the schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, assistant coaches speak with the media and the afternoons. You'll see a lot of that come out Monday afternoon. And we'll see how much work they really do get in next week. But it feels like we're on the very tail end here on the way out of the door.
Yeah, but there's still work to be done. That's some individual type stuff I think that they're going to really focus in on, and I think they've got something special planned for the players. That,
really? Are you going to break some news?
No,
here?
I'm not going to break the news, but I think it's going to be really cool to see that and to hear about that. But stay tuned on that.
Always a
the
pleasure.
Last week is always, like I said, there's always something exciting. Yeah. The last week, there's always a bone of some kind.
Yeah.
Like when I say bone,
throw a bone.
Throwing a dog a milk bone. You know what I mean?
I'm aware of that.
I'm not trying to say that players are all dogs. Cause
we know what you mean, Logs.
Just want to make sure nobody gets offended.
Nobody's offended. Thank you, Logs. We'll see you next week for the last show of this off-season program, and we'll be off for like a month and a half. That's Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reaver. Thanks to you for watching and listening. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.